We've all heard the saying, sometimes the path forward is to take a step back. Well, I've done that a couple of times, and uh, the console has annoyed me enough that I decided to take a step sideways. And what I'm doing now is working on the scheduler because I think if I have the scheduler implemented, I'll be able to work the console into the scheduler and maybe better be able to debug what's going on. Um, it's probably something really stupid, but eventually I'm going to get that hammered out and the input handler will not be a roadblock. Text is not a problem. I can display text all day, but just writing static messages on the screen like empty in the status bar or uh, prepare on the screen doesn't really get us anywhere. I can basically put text anywhere on the display I want. That's not really an issue. Handling the input and creating an input console is a little bit more than just putting text on the screen. It's capturing input, it's queuing it up, it's keeping the previous inputs displayed on the lines above. Not entirely sure that the scrolling of the lines is working either because I can't get that far to test it. But the test I created for scrolling does seem to pass, though in real world application it hasn't really been tested. So maybe with this scheduler in place, I'll be able to make better progress on the console. Anyway, that, from what I can tell, pretty much mirrors the original scheduler from the game's original source code. We do have some advantages running it on the Amiga because we have a lot more cycles to play with. So we get to do some checks more frequently, but I'm trying to keep the timers accurate to the original. So we will have the same number of frames, we'll have the same number of input checks, the monsters will get the same number of turns, torches will take the same amount of time, and this should, now I haven't really tested it, but I probably should test it, this should run the same speed on NTSC and PAL. So it doesn't matter what kind of Amiga you're running it on, the timers will be independent of the refresh rate. Now, the screen updates will be set to the refresh rate, but since the game will only update the screen time about once every 10 seconds or so, that won't really matter. No, not once every 10 seconds, about 10 times, running about 10 frames a second maybe. For a game like this, that's really more than enough. Plus, that gives us extra time to deal with other things rather than screen refreshes because we are not using sprites or any kind of background static images. We're actually doing line draws throughout most of the game execution, so that takes a little bit longer on the Amiga than some of the other ways it can display graphics. So using the lower frame rate really benefits us here. Plus, that will give us the advantage of being able to use other screen modes like extra half bright or something like that if I decided I wanted to enhance the graphics some. But before I can get to any of that, I got to get the game working, and the timers are important. So with the timers implemented, I can now try to get the console working and other things. I'm going to come back to it. Basically, I'm not letting a roadblock in one area keep me from getting any progress throughout the entire project. If I have trouble in one area, I'll stop for a little bit, work on something else, then come back to it. So the scheduler's done, so that's progress. Keep watching this space for future updates because I don't think I'm going to stop this. I'm kind of enjoying the process of making this game, and even though it is getting close to the end of September and Septandy is almost over, I'm not going to let that mean that the development of this game is going to stop. I will start working on Fuselage again in the next month, but for now, I'm going to continue focusing on this Dungeons of Daggorath port for the Amiga, so stay tuned.